Hey everyone, welcome back to CryptoCache. Thanks so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day like I am. Everything's on flash sale. What do you know? It's awesome, awesome stuff. So we're going to take a quick look at Sandbox, and before we do, we'll look at Bitcoin too, so you can kind of understand what's going on there, get a little bit of perspective, because we are down 10% on the day here for Bitcoin. It kind of gave us this little dead cat, which has been pretty much 2, 3, 4 dead cats in a row this week. But standard stuff, right? Bitcoin couldn't pass 60,000, dropped down low at this point, down all the way to about 54. And I hope that you've been dollar cost averaging your way down, because that is what these two channels are for. I've basically been telling my community members, make sure you just add to your position as it gets lower and set your limit orders for even some unrealistic numbers, right? Like for example, Ethereum, that's a great one to try to dollar cost average. I was able to get filled at like 39.5 and also 4,000. So I feel great about that because that's one coin that's probably going to 2, 3, 4x personally this year over, just going to perform better than Bitcoin long term and short term. But regardless, simple fact, we are looking very good here for Bitcoin in the sense that 52 to 54,000 is a very strong likelihood for the price action to kind of continue. I wouldn't expect it to recover and ramp up quickly, but if it does, great, let's celebrate that. It's just not something that we're going to see probably as a kind of a normal or a standard, okay? So just bear that in mind. So all in all, Bitcoin's not in terrible shape. Okay, so just get that through your head. This is very standard. This is good. It's basically just a better buying opportunity to be able to average your cost down. Right. So try to look at it positively. Yes, are every single coin minus a few are all bright red today? That's okay. We gotta be okay with that. All right. So let's take a look at Sandbox to see how this works out here. Now we've got. Oh, you know what? I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. There's probably new members here today. I'm not a financial advisor. I've been trading for over 15 years. I just want you to know that. And it's important you understand, too, as well, that I love teaching people how to trade. So I'm going to try to help you understand how to become more of a self-sufficient trader instead of just trading for one day, right? I don't want to give you fish. I want to teach you how to fish, if that makes sense. I have a trading community as well. Link in the description below for that. Check that out in your own time. That we'll have more slots available December 1st. Just keep that in the forefront of your mind. But for right now, we do have all slots are full for November. I apologize. So we got a dollar, basically a doji sign here for Sand, and that's pretty standard. Pretty much just states that there's a state of indecision, which is normal considering how low it went and where the price is at now. So it's actually a very good sign to see a doji. I know this candlestick hasn't closed yet, and it's kind of trying to figure it out. This is a good sign early on based on the simple fact that Bitcoin took a tumble, right? And a lot of coins are struggling to recover. Sandbox, even though it's on the downside and it took a harder hit here today, you can see it kind of bounced off of 652. So it's a good sign as well. I think we're in pretty good shape here for Sand. Let's go ahead and take a look. So the one-day chart, we're still over 70 on the RSI. I like that personally. That's always a good place to be. Basically implies we're still above a major support level somewhere, right? We'll identify that here soon. It's probably somewhere around 652. That's my speculation. But we could even be as low as 592 as a major support. We'll see here in a moment. But these are all positive things here for Sandbox, and the 50-day simple moving average is trailing behind. Taking a look at the 4-hour, the 50-day simple moving average has been working its way up. This is notoriously a nice, strong, good, healthy support level, right? So it's moving up. It'll probably intersect with the price action around 592 or 652 in the relative near future. Maybe in the next couple of trading days. For now, it's trailing behind. We're over 50, under 70 in the RSI. Also perfect. The key takeaway here is we're over 50. And what that basically implies here, you see this movement in the way in which it's kind of digressing and bounced off this halfway point around 54. That implies that $5.92 is probably the more ideal likely candidate for a strong support. Now, granted, obviously you can see on the charts right now that 652 did a very good job of responding to the price. It held as a strong support. I'm just letting you know that 50 on the RSI is probably somewhere around 592 to say round number $6. We shouldn't expect the price to come lower than $6. Again, based on that sentiment alone, because 50 on the RSI holds as a strong support level, and so would 592, because that's effectively the same travel distance. That's roughly the same place. I'm not sure if I'm going to explain that correctly, but that's generally how it works with the RSI on the 4-hour chart. It gives us the best indication of a strong support signal. All right, don't see too much else here. Obviously, we got a potential bullish convergence here on the MACD, but that's a ways away. Basically reaching for straws there. But the simple key takeaway here is that you see this kind of sloping upwards a little bit. That could imply that we're shifting momentum from bearish to bullish. Okay. Again, still too early to tell. Not going to put any weight into that one. All right, taking a look here at Sand at the 1 hour. Let's take a look at Ishimoku Cloud, see what's going on. We're still within the cloud, and the cloud kind of sort of held as a support. So this is a good sign. Generally speaking, the cloud works as a pretty strong support level. Both leads do that, right? So sometimes this one will work and sometimes the other one will work, but both of them work concurrently. So when the price is in the cloud, it's considered a no buy zone, but you don't need to necessarily have to exit your position and get like super worried because it's going to drop below. Give it a chance to hold at that secondary lead and see what happens. And for right now, it's essentially holding. But the key takeaway here is that lagging span way over here, that doesn't matter, honestly, that's irrelevant, but the conversion line is below the baseline, and that's not advantageous. That's considered more bearish than bullish. So we're not out of the doghouse yet. I think it's going to probably be a little while before the cloud starts to kind of dissipate and start trending further down based on the previous action, and then the price would have to stay in this channel. So what I'm hoping for and kind of do anticipate at this point is that the price is going to trend between $6.52 and $7.30. That is my speculation based on the simple fact that $6.52 held very strong as a support level. And I'm venturing to guess that $7.30 will be a resistance here in the near future, but we don't know that yet. It's still a little kind of too early to tell. But again, Sandbox has a tendency of doing very, very well. It could recover and could bounce back quickly. You just got to understand it got way too big, way too fast, okay? And anything that goes too big, too fast, like KuCoin, for example, it has to reach a critical mass and it's eventually going to come back down. It cannot keep going like some people think. And we have these indications that kind of help us understand that. So why don't we take a quick look at that here? Let's rewind just a moment and take a look at TD sequential, right? So we hit a 9 right here, and it didn't give us 4 days consolidation. So typically when you hit a 9 on TD sequential, you're supposed to have 4 days, or just 4 candlesticks rather, worth of consolidation before the price should increase again comfortably. That's what should happen, which is why you see this green line here. That's basically what the resistance should be. It blasted through that for 3 days in a row, and what do you know? We see a 4th red candlestick. Anytime you see 3 strong candlesticks in a row, that's basically considered 3 white soldiers. That's a candlestick pattern. The 4th day is always red. So calling yesterday's decrease in price was pretty obvious. It's pretty straightforward. That happens. Today's decrease is mostly based on Bitcoin's behavior. So that sentiment alone, Sandbox is doing very well considering how terrible it should be doing contrary or in contrast to Bitcoin, if that makes any sense. I know Sandbox is separate from its own, right? But we have to acknowledge the fact that Bitcoin sells off and other coins do too. It's rare for coins to just shoot straight up, besides what storage earlier today. When Bitcoin sells off, right? You typically see everything in a sea of red, right? Well, we have a doji candle here right now that's trying to kind of break free from that and increase, and it bounced off a strong support level. So a lot of good things going on here for Sandbox. It didn't increase as much as it should have, and that's a good sign. But the fact of the matter is, it's still overextended, right? So we should at the very least, expect some type of consolidation. That's what the technical charts are telling us. Now, again, Sandbox is somewhat of an anomaly. It tends to move on its own sometimes. Therefore, it could very well ramp back up. But it's not giving us that indication right now that's going to do that. All the technical data is telling us right now is that we're overextended. Here's one thing that's kind of nice, a little consolation. We can see we hit a 9 there, right? And then it retraced. Big surprise, we hit a 9 on TD sequential and the price goes down. That's standard. That's what's supposed to happen. But it came down and we're already at an 8 right now. We're probably going to get a reset, but what that basically just implies is that we could see a shift in momentum from bearish to bullish, and the price could continue and increase. I'm not sold on the Ishimoku cloud right now until the price breaks above the cloud and we get the lagging span a little bit further over, and more so important, the conversion line above the baseline. Then and only then will I be confident and take a position. Okay, we're not there yet. So that implies that we're going to probably see some consolidation. Okay, that's just my sentiment there. I think that's where we're at. And what I'll do too in the near future is, kind of recreate the Fibonacci retracement levels here for Sandbox. But if you look at this here, November 21st, that was 5 days ago. So in 4 trading days, the price had increased 130%. And that's already on something that had increased like 200 or 300% prior to that, right? Therefore, we can expect the price to go sideways a little bit longer, right? So again, that's what the technical data is telling us. Will this behave? Will this do what it's supposed to? It's hard to say. Honestly, Sandbox has a tendency of making me out to be somewhat of a liar, but it also reiterates, some really important key takeaways here. It shows us that, candlestick patterns are relevant. It also shows us that the, Ichimoku cloud has been proven to be very beneficial if we look back in the past. And also, furthermore, it also confirms that, TD sequential is essentially working the way that it should right now. So it's kind of following all the regular good patterns right now as of today. So what I'm getting at here is if we've increased 130% in 5 trading days, will it increase that amount again in the next in the next 3 trading days? I misspoke. 3 trading days, approximately 125%. Well, I think the likelihood of that is pretty low, personally. Without a state of consolidation, I think it could be subject to further retracement if it doesn't get a chance to kind of take a breather, right? Yes, it's consolidated somewhat for 24 hours if you want to think about that, but it's still a significant retracement. I mean, price is down right now about 15%. That's a healthy amount. That's a large amount. So to me, I don't think we're going to see, Sandbox up in the range of about, $10, $11 in the next 3 trading days. I think in the next week or 2, sure, that's very much likely considering its history and how it's done. It responded very well to Bitcoin selling off recently. So that is a true testament. The only downfall and negative here is that it's still overextended, and we need to have a bit more consolidation if we want to have this continuation happen. It needs to be healthy continuation, not unhealthy. And this definitely went well outside the standard deviation lines that it's supposed to, and it still outperformed, and it bounced off of a nice key level support. So to me, 652 should be the bottom. Secondary support is 592. Best case scenario for me is $10.82 in 1 to 2 weeks. Okay, we'll take a look at this again here tomorrow and identify that. It's going to always constantly be changing based on the fact that coins change. The price changes, right? it has to happen. That's why you always constantly analyze stuff. You don't just take today's data and use it as an end-all be-all. Yes, it helps us in the general sentiment, but the short term is very important, especially if you're selling and trimming and adding to your position, all that, right? So I would recommend maybe dollar cost averaging at this point. That's pretty much the solution for any type of major Bitcoin sell-off, right? Save some money, put some money aside for dollar cost averaging. I'm super thankful that we have a better value today. I was able to add to my position for KuCoin and obviously some Ethereum as well. And I think it's important to make sure that you consistently have money available for that. I know it's really easier said than done, but don't put all your eggs in one basket. I get a lot of my members asking me, how do I recover from this significant loss? I put 4,000 into Rose this morning. What do I do? Well, you probably shouldn't have done that. That's the first start. Anyways, all that cool stuff we can go ahead and cover. If you'd like to become a member, maybe get to know me better, my community better. I have a phenomenal amount of really cool people in the group right now. We're over 350 strong already in just a few months. And, I recommend checking that out, of course. It's going to be available 1st of December. All slots are full this month. We got way more than I needed to. I wanted to make sure that everyone has the right amount of attention. So just mark a calendar for December 1st. That'll become available. Best time to invest anyways, right? All right, so thanks again for your time. I look forward to seeing the next video. Really do appreciate it. And thanks again. We'll see you soon. Take care.